There we go.
This meeting is being recorded.
Recording. So I'm going to make a brief introduction. Welcome all. Thank you very much for being here. The workshop is how to communicate with a narcissistic partner. And I'm going to make a brief introduction about me. I am Nisanka, and I've been a holistic practitioner and a life coach for about a few years now, about over 3 years, almost 4 years now. But I've been working with children and parents over 23 years, first as a teacher, now doing this. So I've got substantial experience working with children as well as parents. And most of all, I feel like the area that I have chosen to work in my business is my truest calling, because I am co-parenting. I get your shit basically, because I've been through MASH, I've been through local authority, I've been through mediation, I've been through all sorts of processes. And, you know, as a South Asian woman, I've been through isolation of the community, different comments, unhelpful comments, the flying monkey thing. I've been through it. So I get that. I absolutely get that. So there's not only just the knowledge and the practical knowledge, and also the holistic and the life coaching knowledge and the skills, as well as the knowledge I bring as a teacher, previously a teacher, but also so much empathy and practical knowledge of navigating all of this. So I'm going to share that all with you. Welcome all. Please turn off your, please mute your microphone. Thank you very much. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be using a bit of EFT tapping. So grab some water. But first of all, I have to legally say this, that none of the work that we do is a substitute to any therapy or any other medical or legal interventions that you may need. But I'll be sharing quite a lot of helpful tips. So if you can just drop me a line, because I still see people coming in, if you can just drop me a line where you heard about this event, that would be very helpful for me to obviously go back and thank people who shared the news about this. So if you can just drop a line in the chat box and tell me where you've heard about this, that will be amazing. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. If it's a referral in the sense like somebody actually told you about this, just let me know who that person is. Yeah, if you heard about it on LinkedIn or Facebook or in a group, just let me know. Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Facebook. Okay. Yeah, Facebook. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And just to let you know that I might be using he as a pronoun to refer to a narcissist, but it doesn't mean that I believe there's only he's. There's, okay, it's just both parties involved. Men and women are equally in this category, but just so that it's easier for me to communicate with you, I'll be using he. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for that. So welcome all. We're going to first do something. We must have been having a really, really hard day today, long day today. It's, 7:15 already. So what we're going to first do is to, and if you've already been dealing with very unpleasant communication all day, what I would like you to do is to shake it all off. So if you are there, to shake it all off and then let go of all of this negative energy that you've experienced today. Because I can't read the room, I can't read your body language, you're going to have to use the chat box to communicate with me, if that's okay. That's my only request for you, okay? So shake it all off and then just let it all go. If you want to stand up and then just really, really shake off all of those negative energies that you've been carrying, you've been getting today, and just let it all go. away and away and away from you. Thank you very much. And we're going to get some good energy back into us and just get some energy flowing within us. Okay, so just do a little bit of all of this, just some tapping everywhere around your thighs, legs, inner thighs, everywhere. Just do a little bit of tapping and get some energy back into you. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Let it all go. And we're all going to take responsibility for our own well-being throughout this process. Okay, so if you're feeling highly triggered, let me know. I'd suggest that you take a sip of water, walk away, and then maybe stop and come back later. Just let me know. Okay, so what we're going to do today, what I will be covering today is how not to be confused by the narcissistic communication patterns, methods of communicating with the narcissist, and then 3 steps to powerfully communicate with the narcissist without giving them much of an opportunity to twist your words. It's like regulate, filter, and craft a very powerful message. And then I'll also be sharing a couple of things that I'm offering right now. Absolutely no pressure to buy whatsoever. And I would also kindly ask you to give me some feedback on the workshop. So that would be fantastic. That's all we are going to be covering today. So if there are any other expectations that you thought, oh, this would really help me today, or if you've come here with any other expectations, just let me know. Use the chat box and let me know, and then I'll let you know whether I can cover them or not, or maybe I'll do a follow-up email or something like that. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to do that. Thank you. So any other expectations other than what I have just shared? Okay, so I'm assuming I'm going to cover everything I said I was going to cover. But if you think of anything, just drop me a text. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so first of all, I would like to hear from you is what is your experience when you're communicating with a narcissistic partner? Whether it's a co-parenting situation, you might have left the relationship, you might still be in the relationship, you might have left but still going through this post-separation abuse. Whatever the situation you are in, what's your experience? I'm not asking to tell me what they're doing, but really particularly asking you to think about your feelings and emotion, what your experience is like. Something like you feel exhausted, you feel angry, you feel frustrated. If you don't mind, just drop them in a chat. What is your experience? I'll give you a minute, because that kind of makes a baseline for us to for the rest of the evening. So what is your experience? And if any of the things I'm saying is not clear, let me know. Okay, thank you. What's your experience like dealing with a narcissist, trying to communicate with a narcissist with regard to your children, whatever it is that you're dealing with? Let me know. I'll give you a minute. Please use the chat box. Yeah. course I've muted myself. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So basically fear, 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 fear everywhere. So what I want you to do is, I don't want you to be very specific about this. I don't want you to go into too much into this, because I don't want you to feel extremely triggered. But generally speaking, I'm going to pick one thing, and then I'm going to help you reduce some of these emotions and feelings that you're having. Because what happens is, when we are in the thick of dealing with our emotions, our prefrontal cortex actually shuts down, because we're in the trauma response, we're in the fight or flight response. And what happens is, our logical brain, our focus and attention, it actually shuts down. And that means we're not going to be able to write the correct thing. We're not going to be able to hear properly and understand properly. We're not going to be able to powerfully communicate and get things across. But if any of you are here thinking whatever I'm going to say today is going to help you change other person's behavior or narcissistic person's behavior towards you, I'm going to have to say I'm going to be disappointing you, because one thing we're going to have to radically accept is their behavior, that will never change. We can never win, but we can still powerfully make decisions for our children and ourselves and communicate effectively, so that they're not going to be twisting it against you and bother you. Well, they'll find a way to, but at least you know where you stand. So I want you to give from 0 to 10, give some of those feelings. Yeah, give some of these feelings. I'm going to get to these chats, from 0 to 10, 0 being calm and 10 being intensely, it's that experience is intense. So if you're feeling fear, 10 out of 10 is you're petrified, just, really scared. Give it a intensity, give it an intensity. Okay. 7. Okay. 7 is quite high. And if you're not 100% sure if you're with a narcissistic partner or not, the slides have some information about what narcissistic traits are. If you've got majority of them, then you're likely that you are with a narcissistic partner. Okay. What I want you to do right now with me is to learn something that will really help you regulate when you're feeling fearful, whenever you're feeling any of these emotions. I'm going to use EFT tapping with you, and it's going to really help you regulate. Again, as a precaution, keep it very general. Don't go deep into any of that. Okay, thank you very much. So what I will do is I will demonstrate how EFT tapping is done. Some of you have already done this, so some of you know that, but some of you are not familiar with it. EFT tapping stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. What it does is, it's a clinically proven test, so it's scientifically proven to be extremely powerful and effective. What it basically does is, in our brain, we have something called amygdala, which remembers past incidents, smells, taste, and words and behaviors and things like that, which we call triggers. So when we feel like we're in a unsafe situation, we're being triggered. So when you hear anything that a narcissistic person says, because you've been in this fight or flight response for a long time, you're going to be triggered, which means your attention and focus and everything's going to go. But what EFT does is, actually, it's going to turn that off. Okay, so which means you're going to be able to come to your semiostatus, that means the normal level of stress levels, very quickly. So we're going to turn that off. That's what we're going to do. If we're going through this process again, I'm going to tell you if nothing is clear, just let me know. Okay, so do this with me. Keep it general. I'm going to use anxiety as an example, because it's easy. So we set up, take a deep breath, tune into that feeling, Give it a number from 0 to 10, which you've already done, and we're going to set it up. Even though I feel really anxious when I think about communicating with my partner, I deeply love and accept myself anyway. And if you can't say love and accept myself anyway, just say, I want to, I would, one day, whatever that works for you. Even though the intensity of this feeling, anxiety, is about 7 out of 10, I deeply love and accept myself anyway. Try and give it a color, a shape, or a texture, because all of them hold information. And also locate where you feel this anxiety and fear. It might be the chest, it might be the throat, it might be your gut, it might be your sort of neck, headache, anywhere. The body keeps the score, remember. Even though I have this anxiety in my chest, like red fire, I deeply love and accept myself anyway. Okay, this is a self-compassionate approach. You're going to love yourself anyway. Top of your head, all this anxiety I'm feeling. All this anxiety I'm feeling. Top of your eyebrow, all this anxiety I'm feeling. All this anxiety I'm feeling. I feel really anxious. End of your eyebrow, I feel really anxious. If it's fear for you, then put fear. If it's confusion, then it's confusion. All this anxiety I'm feeling. Under your eye here, all this anxiety I'm feeling. Under your nose, I'm feeling really anxious. All this anxiety I'm feeling. And on your chin, all this anxiety I'm feeling. And on your collarbone, just gentle tapping about 5-6 times. Remember, you get the recording, so even if you don't get it right now, you can watch it again and practice. All this anxiety I'm feeling. And then under the armpit, for like a woman, it's like the bra line, and for a man, about 2-3 centimeters below your armpit. All this anxiety I'm feeling. All this anxiety I'm feeling. Okay, so that's one round of tapping. What I want you to do is take a deep breath and tune into your original feeling and see if the score has gone down or it has gone up. Either way, it's fine. This is if you're tapping for the first time, it might be a little bit confusing for the body, but it works every single time. Give me some feedback on how you were feeling and what's the score is like now. Any score? Yeah, a little lighter. Yeah, about 6. Great. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it really does help you regulate, because it just, and some of you are feeling a little lighter and it just feels like you're not thinking about it anymore. It's because it really turns off that signals, which means you're in a much calmer, better position yourself. So whenever you feel like, whenever you have to I wouldn't say the word confront, because what you will be doing is trying to hold them responsible, which is going to backfire. It's something that you have to anticipate anyway. It is a predictable reaction from them. For the further down our workshops, you will understand the patterns a bit more. What you can do is, when you know that you're going to go through this, you got a text or you got an email, you got a court date or something like that, this is what you will do. You will prepare yourself and you will equip yourself better. Okay, regulate. Keep a couple of more rounds of tapping, and then see how that goes. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow, by the way, on how to build trust as well. There's more tapping, how to use. There'll be some more tapping in that email tomorrow, so watch out for that one. If you're happy to move on, I'm going to happy to move on to the next one. So the next one is we're going to look at the communication patterns of the narcissist. So on your link, if you go to slide number 10, I'll just wait until you'll catch up. So go to slide number 7, and if you haven't got it, I'm just going to put that link here again. Go to slide number 7. Yeah. Go to slide number 7. You can see some of these communication patterns that you see from the narcissist. Okay. So they're very unempathetic. They dominate the conversation time and topic. So you'll see if you're trying to have a phone conversation about children, their events or something like that, they will dominate the conversation. They don't pay attention to anything you say. So it doesn't matter how well you craft the message, they're not going to listen to it, right? So there's also the word salad of like them talking about things that happened 15 years ago, things happen in Palestine, that and that, and then somehow they make it relevant to them, and somehow they make it very important to them, so that they feel like they're the victim. And then there's excessive praise to themselves. So you will see this, I do all of this, I mean, I'm so important, I can't skip that meeting. If I leave the work, everything's going to fall apart, you know. And false superiority, unsolicited advice. They will never get involved in parenting, but they'll have plenty of advices for you in terms of parenting. And very manipulative and blame shifting and guilt tripping you. So these are the general communication patterns of a narcissistic partner. Okay, but what's really important is that you will find yourself questioning your reality when you're trying to communicate with these people, because they're constantly gaslighting you. So there's a really good slide in there, slide number 11. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you've got slide number 11, please? If you've got slide number 11, just give me a thumbs up. I just don't want to share because sometimes when I share, awesome. So you've got slide number 11. That is a system called DAVO, and that's what we are going to use. It's a very practical tool that you can have. DAVO is a acronym that's come up by somebody called Dr. Jennifer Field, who is in toxic relationship, who does a lot of research in toxic relationship. And she's come up with that to understand what gaslighting is like. And gaslighting confuses your reality a lot. So basically, it says D stands for deny. You will see the communication patterns of these people. They deny having done anything or having said anything, you know. And then the next stage of this gaslighting is they will attack you. So they will turn around the criticism to focus blame on the person who is calling them out. So if you're trying to hold them responsible, so there is a school event or there's therapy that your children need, and you want them to agree on therapy, they will try and twist it and make it look like it's your fault that the child needs therapy, and they'll guilt trip you, manipulate you, so that they don't have to take any blame or any responsibility, or they don't have to do anything. And the third one is reverse victim and offender. So suddenly you're trying to hold them responsible. Suddenly they're holding you responsible and they're becoming the victim. So one of the examples would be, imagine this situation. You're trying to get your children or child therapy because they come up with anxiety, suicidal thoughts, which is a very common thing to experience for children who are being raised by narcissistic parents, and they need therapy. You're saying, child needs therapy, And they'll go something like, especially a grandiose narcissist will say things like, therapy, what therapy? You get over it, you know? And then they'll say things like, um, I don't have time to take, you know, I don't have money, I'm really struggling, etc., etc. So they'll come up with all of these things and they will deny wanting to take any part in any of that. And the next step you'll probably likely see is if you're trying to like really communicate and get this across, because according to law, if you're co-parenting, if it's gone through the judicial system, then you know you need the other parent's signature, need the other parent's authority. But also remember, there are plenty of, according to the UK law, there's plenty of bills that protects children as well. So if you have teenage children, their consent is more than enough. And so yeah, remember that. Okay. So and then they will say things like, this is your fault, you left me, you put this child, you're bad, you're a bad parent, and that's why children need, you're not doing a really good job. So they'll try and turn and twist it around you. And the next thing is, now look what you've done. So they're trying to be the victim. Now look what you've done. You know, now I can't go for that promotion, now I can't do this, now I have to give up everything, now I have to, how am I going to show my face to the world knowing that I have a child who needs therapy, you know, something like that. They'll make it all about them. Okay, so Davo. So whenever you get a text or email or communication pattern from your partner, narcissistic partner, put this into context. Do they deny? Do they attack you? Do they reverse the victim? Yeah, reverse the blame. So always put this into context. It may take some time for you to train your brain to do that, but once you get a hang of it, it'll automatically happen. That way, you're acknowledging your reality. You know, actually, this is not your fault, right? So let me give you a really good example. So go to number 12, which is a really good. The context is this parent, they're co-parenting, and the other parent asked the narcissistic parent to help them with the child because they had some troubles, you know, unwell, etc., etc. The partner just says no, but this is how they say no. So you can read this. Doing all of this because of our child's well-being is important to me. They're my happiness, but the way you act and behave these days are completely unacceptable. You should stop this narcissistic behavior. You see, victim blaming, the projection, denial. I also noticed that you were trying to put barrier between me and my child. You got the text so you can read it. And you're trying to corrupt their little mind with fabricated stories and negative things about me. It all comes from a very dysregulated point because their fragile ego is hurt, their insecurities are triggered, and so they want to project the blame, right? So if you don't stop this, I will only stick to the things that I'm legally obliged to do. By the way, this parent has broken all the legal agreements so far, even though they're threatening with this one. So I'm trying my very best to maintain a positive relationship with my child, even though life is not easy for me. Oh, look at the victimhood there, right? So these are the type of communication that you will hear. This is a grandiose slash covert narcissist, somebody there who's been working with me for a while and their partner. And so we worked through this and we formulated a really good response. To be honest, though, the person did not respond to this one at all because they didn't want to take the bait. They didn't want to be hoovered into an argument. They didn't want to give a reaction. But they had to then work with me first to then sort through the grief and the anger and the frustration. Okay. So these are the things, when you read these things, just work through them first. Okay. So if you've got something that you can share with me, I'll give you a minute or two. Share with me and I'm not expecting you to, but share with me so I can actually take that. And if not, I'll give you a minute to reflect on some of the communications you've had so far and put that Davo into perspective, into context, and see if you see things differently, and just give me some feedback. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. It is a textbook example. It is. It's just this classic. It's very common. Yeah. You will always notice, I'll come to, there's a question about not getting any response. I'll come to that. But you will always notice the narcissistic people, if you really pay attention, if you really listen to what they're saying, you will notice they basically talk about themselves when they blame you, when they shift the blame to you, when they manipulate you, when they project it. They're basically talking about themselves. So it's easier to see their inner world from the way they communicate, from the way they blame you. So if you're being constantly told you're a bad parent, you're not the bad parent. You're the one who's doing the shit. Acknowledge that. Likelihood is that they're a parent, and they already know that, and that's why they're blaming you. So when they don't respond or engage via text, that's when, okay, so when they don't engage, that's fine, it's even better. What I would say is, unless it's a legal situation, in which case you would need to get the lawyers involved and communicate through the lawyers, which is very expensive. I mean, in the UK, it costs about £250 to get a letter written. Unless you're very confident in formulating something, you need to get the lawyers involved. But at the same time, what you can rephrase is in the text is, since I've not heard from you, or if I don't hear from you within the next 2 days, so just give a specific date, okay, I'm going to assume that my decision is the final decision, right? You're saying that to protect yourself. You're not saying that to get him to give you an agreement or anything, right? Legally, you're protecting yourself that way because you have consulted. At the end of the day, if they're a neglectful narcissist, which I mean, it's difficult to say from this one, but sounds like one. If they're a neglectful narcissist, you're kind of in a better position because you just go about parenting any way you like. They're not going to get involved. They're not interested. So you just have to radically accept that you're the single parent and you're going to make the choices. In a way, I personally see that as a very powerful position to be, because you're the parent. You get you have that power. Empower yourself and raise your children the best way you can. Yeah. Okay, so keeping it quiet. Okay, I'm gonna come to this one. Keeping it quiet. I'm gonna come to several methods how we can communicate. Okay, but are we all clear on the Davo approach? Are you able to sort of apply this? Just let me know. Sami, I think you will get a better answer in the next couple of things that we're going to discuss, okay? So basically, don't try. Thank you. So if you're living with these people, and you kind of need some communication because you're kind of under the same roof and you're not in a position to leave, the best way to do is to then apply several techniques that I'm just about to share. So you can't go no contact if you're living, but if you can go, then you can go no contact. But the next way is to keep the contact to a minimum. So it's a yes, no, essentials. I've eaten. Have you eaten? If they ask you, "Okay, how's your day?" Good, thank you. Very unlikely to ask. But have you fed the baby? Yes, I've fed the baby. Baby's in the bed. I mean, it's not a relationship. It's not a very right, healthy, or it's it's not relationship. You're just simply existing in under the same roof. So you can do that. So you can use no contact as a method. You can use minimum contact as a method. Okay, and then you can use something called gray rocking as a method. A gray rocking is basically keeping everything to a very, very minimum contact. So yes, I'm fine, thank you, but it's very formal as well. No expressions, no warmth, no kind of connection there whatsoever. It's a very minimum contact again, but you will also be blocking pretty much everybody that you can block so that they don't get information. um, and you can kind of keep things, keep them at an arm's length. So yeah, so that's gray rocking. And and it just comes across really, really cold, and which can be really difficult because then the other partner has a reason to trash you to the children, and they can go, "Oh, look, how can I live with a person like this? They're very cold, they're not even warm, they don't know how to laugh, da 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 da." They'll come up with something. That's gray rocking. And that's when you need to kind of yeah, and that's okay. And that's when you kind of need the skills to kind of ungaslight children, sort of, without triangulating children, but you can also acknowledge their experience, because when somebody's saying you're a cold person, the best answer you can give is to have connected moments with your children, because when your children feel that warmth from you, um, they know it's not true when it comes to them. And that's the important thing. You can't go, proving everything to everybody, because we'll be wasting our time, we'll be wasting our energy. Use that energy to be with your children and to connect with your children. Okay. So that's gray rocking. The other approach is, I can't remember who came up with this terminology, but I read in my research, and then I've heard it from Dr. Ramani's YouTube channel as well. I highly recommend it if you're not familiar with it. And she said about yellow rocking, which is a bit of a middle ground. So you might send a card, Happy Christmas, but you cannot do any of these things with the expectation that one day the other person will change. One day the other person will suddenly realize your value and they will appreciate you. None of that. You got to first protect yourself when you do this. This is the important thing. So I'm going to kind of help you do something. Close your eyes. This is how you protect yourself. And I'll continue with the yellow rocking. If you're in the same room, or if you're going to yellow rock, if you're going to gray rock, or minimum contact, even if you're going to pick up that phone, okay, this is something you can do in 30 seconds. If you're going to pick up that phone, if you're going to text that person, or if you're going to be in the same room, you might have to, school concerts, graduations, you never know. What you can do is just close your eyes. Imagine you've got like a safety bubble around you, and make it as thick as possible, right? In your imagination, make it as thick as possible that no energy can penetrate that. So cover yourself in a very safety bubble that no one can penetrate that. Now I want you to fill that bubble with love and compassion and support for yourself. If you have a faith, spirit, whoever, animals that you care about, you love, send them into that bubble. Now you're surrounded by people that care about you, animal spirits, higher self that care about you. you're in this safe bubble, right? Safe from all that negative energy that's coming out from the people. Do that. Okay? Remember that. It's a 30 seconds, 10-second job. Do that, and then you can yellow rock. Hi, how are you? Happy Christmas. Come on in. You can even go as far as saying, how's your day? Da da da. And you keep things. There's some warmth, but you're not giving anything about yourself. No expressing anything. You don't want to share your life with them. None of that, right? And you can just really protect yourself that way. This way, there is some warmth, and your children, that there isn't much opportunity for them to actually trash you, because you are warm, you are welcoming, but you have your boundaries, and boundaries are important, which is a completely different workshop, by the way. How has the workshop been so far? We've got 10 minutes. I might overrun by 5 minutes, but we've got 10 minutes, and I've got a couple of more things that I'd like to cover, because we need to formulate an answer, which is also important. Awesome. Thank you very much. And I'm going to share a couple of things that I'm offering right now. Again, like I said, no pressure to buy at all. But there's a group workshop coming up. So I'm going to drop actually, I'll see if I can share the screen with you. Am I sharing? I can't see anything if I'm sharing. This is why I didn't do that earlier. Nope, I can't see it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it. So I've got a workshop coming up, not a workshop. I've got like a group coaching program coming up. In that group, you can click on that and then see some of them. What I'm basically looking at is how to protect your children, and basically how to ungaslight your children and have that connection with your children. So you might have left, you might be in the same, you might still be in the same relationship. So what we will be doing, it's a 4 weeks one. What we'll be doing in week one is to create some mental space where you understand your boundaries and practice how to ask for help and have those boundaries respected. Remember, boundaries are to be respected by you. Nobody else will do. So we'll learn how to do that. And week two, we're going to go and talk about offering a smooth transition if they're going between homes. If not, if they're in the same household and they're experiencing violence and sort of gaslighting, and how can you actually protect through a smooth transition. And we're going to talk about alternative environments for children and how you can then through that empower them, encourage them, and give role models, sort of show healthy relationships. And we're going to take action. These are all very practical. So the third one is regulation. So we're going to do a little bit more self-regulation, co-regulation. Mind you that regulating, self-regulation is regulation for yourself, and co-regulation is when the children are anxious, when they're stressed, how you regulate with them. Okay, so co-regulation. So we're going to practice some of that and how to be present with children. And week 4 is I'm going to give you step by step 6 steps to deeply connect with your children so that no one can break this bond between you and your children. And also part of that, which I forgot to add, is how to ungaslight your children. So that's just 4 weeks group coaching program, and we can extend a bit more if there's anything else. Currently, it's on offer for £100. Just all of that. You can keep everything, and you can have regular one-to-one after that, just for £100. It's just £100, and I'll just drop the link. Like I said, think about it. No pressure to buy whatsoever. And I'm sure if this is not the right time for you, and I'll be offering that in the future as well, based on that. And the second offer is that I've got an offer going on for one-to-one work. If you commit for 3 months, then you can get it for £300 per month, and you get full-on support. So that means unlimited access to me. So you can email me, text me, call me, Obviously, we'd have to arrange some of them, but also you get 3 hours of one-to-one coaching and slash therapy with me, and also access to online tools and stuff like that. So that's only £300 at the moment. Usually it's £450. And the offer ends on the 31st of January. I just did that for my birthday. I celebrated my birthday like a couple of weeks ago. So that's the other one. And then I haven't offered this on my website or anywhere else. I just thought about it this afternoon. But if you have any kind of communication issues going on right now, and if you feel like one-on-one would work, just drop me an email and we can arrange one-on-one time, 1 hour to 2 hours. And we'll probably see like more like a pay what you can basis. 'Cause I don't want to put a price on it because I haven't got a proper sales page for that at all. But if you have any of that going on, just drop me a text, drop me an email, and we will arrange one-on-one time. And then just you pay me what you can. We'll see how it goes. So those are the three offers I've got going on right now. And my next workshop is going to be how to support your children with when they experience anxiety. Which again, I'll probably do it as a pay what you can thing. So those are the things that's going on. So moving on to the next stage. So we talked about yellow rocking. Yellow rocking, so there is some civility, very, shallow conversations, a bit of warmth, but you don't ever take the bait. Whenever they give you messages like that, you don't take that bait. But this will show that children are warm. What I want you to remember is don't engage, don't defend yourself, don't explain, and don't personalize. These are all in your slides that you've got, which I will be sending out tomorrow. So don't worry. So 4 things: don't engage, don't defend, don't explain, don't personalize. I think somebody asked me a question earlier about, let me say, is the narcissist over? No, they have positive moments. They have good moments. The good moments are what attracted us to them, right? They have good moments, but only in their terms. When they feel good, they feel good. When they feel negative, they feel negative. But they are pathologically insecure about themselves. They don't feel secure about themselves, which is why they're projecting all of these negative traits. So that's why they want to have a conflict all the time. That's why they're very rigid in their approach. And if you're talking about sort of Asian culture like mine, there's a lot of cultural narcissism, like, this is how we do things. This is how generations have been doing this. That's going on for us as well. This is how a woman should be, and this is what the woman's place is like. But that's also patriarchy, but as well as cultural narcissism. They're also quite vindictive when they don't get what they want, how they want, and then they're likely to react. They lash out, they might beat and other things, control you, especially like malignant narcissists. They'll just destroy you, go on to destroy you. I've got a couple of people that I'm working with currently, not allowing children to go into therapy, and it's just use the court system to manipulate. It's just, yeah. I think the simple answer is, yeah, they might have 1 or 2 good moments, but they are negative, very negative people. They're not joyful. They're not happy within. They just don't know how to love. They just don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to love anybody else. So the last one, I'm going to move on because I'm concerned about the time. Next one is how to craft a message, right? So we talked about regulating, we talked about filtering, how to craft a message. Okay, so one thing I want you to do before we go on, I'm gonna, okay, let me just read that. I think good moments are a mask. Yeah, absolutely, they are a mask. Makes me worry when they are not being negative. Yes, oh, absolutely. You are walking on eggshells because you know something is not right. When the good moments come, what comes is even worse moment next time. That's usually the pattern. Good moments are usually manufactured, they are fabricated, they're manufactured. It's a hook, basically. It's a hook. Gives you a holiday, and the next 2 months they're probably cheating you or something. You know, it's always a hook. Um uh, okay, so the next one, kind of lost my train of thoughts there. What's I going to say? Regulating. Okay, so I'm going to teach you something that will really help you, again, establish inner peace, give you some compassion. Say, for example, you've got a court date. Say, for example, you have to be in the same room. Say, for example, you're celebrating something together. Say, for example, you have to go to a concert or something together because of the children, or you're replying to an email. Do this. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. What we're going to do is we're going to just we're going to radiate some compassion and love to that moment for better outcomes. You know, you can't attach an outcome when you're communicating with a narcissist, but regardless, you can radiate some love and compassion because you're the one who is handling this, okay? So close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I want you to focus your attention to your heart and imagine you're breathing from your heart. And I want you to set an intention. You just want to write that email to the best of your ability, basically, or you want that court date to go well, whatever. Set an intention for a good outcome. Now you're focused, you're breathing from your heart. And now I want you to imagine radiating some light, a ray of light, a ball of light from your heart to that moment you're in the room together, or that moment you're going to the court, or that moment you're typing that reply. I want you to radiate some love and light to that moment and compassion to that moment. Radiate some light. Okay. Okay. Brilliant. Now what we're going to do is we're going to form an answer. Come back to the here and now. Something that you can do, okay? So when you formulate an answer, even if you're talking, even if you're writing, whatever, you will just give the date, you'll give the time, and you will keep all the descriptive language away. Because what descriptive language does in the communication with a narcissist is to give them an opportunity to get you hooked or twist. So, for example, in your slides, slide number 22, you can see an example. Say, for example, Alex's call, choir, is on the 12th of February at 3. I'll be there. There's another ticket available for you. What you're not seeing that I have done there is in the example is to tell how important his or her presence is, what the social pressure is, what Alex is going to be doing there, whether Alex wants him there or not. You're not describing any of that. You're leaving it out, right? You're not even inviting the person. You're just saying there's another ticket available for you, right? You want the ticket, you get the ticket. You want to make it present, you make it present. But what you will do with the children, yeah, what you will do with the children is not to get their hopes up, right? Love you, I'll be there for you. That's all. And you're going to be incredible, regardless, right? We got this. You and children, that's a family. Whatever the romantic idea we have about the family, not important in the world, right? Not where people will get it, but as long as you get it, that'll be enough. Okay, and that's what you will do. And if you've got any questions, please let me know, because with that comes to the end of our workshop. And please stay, because I'd really like you to do me a favor by completing this quick. Oh, where are you? There you go. If you can just quickly finish this feedback form for me, that'll be amazing. It's only got like 6 questions or something. That'll be amazing. And if you want to ask any questions, I'll stick around. But other than that, this is the end of the workshop. And thank you. And I hope this has been helpful. I will send you a follow-up email with the recording and with all the information I have done in this, like the slides and everything, so you can go through that. Yeah, please do stick around and do the feedback form, because whatever you say in there will help me do better. So the next one is the anxiety one, and I'm also planning one on how to ungaslight your children in the future. So stick sort of yeah, keep an eye out for this information. So have you got any questions for me? Happy to answer them right now. It's not bad. I've only gone over by 4 minutes. I thought I might do more. Okay. Any questions? And I'm going to go through all of these tomorrow. And then I will, if there are any questions that I feel like I haven't covered, what I will do is I will respond to them in an email. Can you all see the link for the feedback form? You can leave if you finish. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to stop recording actually.